Okay, so we've got a compound interest application now for money, and this is different to simple interest. So if you just have a read of that first part, simple interest is calculated on the initial amount, and the money earned is added at the end of the total. But with compound interest, so rather than simple interest being calculated on initial principal, let's add the word compound interest there. So the compound interest is added at the end of each period of time, and then a new interest is calculated. So actually, that word compound's not quite right there. Okay, so I'll just change that. Change it back. So just the interest at the end of the period of time, and then we calculate a new interest, and this continues until the time is finished. So let's look at an example. So $1,000 at 5% over 2 years, and interest compounding annually at each year. So if I just had simple interest, it would just be simple interest equals PRT over 100. Okay, so that would be $100, and your balance would be $1,100. But with compound interest, we do it each year. So in the first year, we do our PRT calculation, and we get $50. And then the new balance, add $50, you get $1,050. And then the second year's interest isn't on $1,000, it's on $1,000.50. So we do a PRT calculation again, and we get just a little bit more, $52.50. So the balance is $1,102.50. So compound interest is better than simple interest. Is better than simple interest. Okay, so copy that down, and when you're ready, come to the next page. Okay, so to make it easy, there's a formula you can use. Full stop. So the compound interest formula, we use it. The calculation gives you a balance, so I call that the CIB, and it looks like a complicated formula, but it's not too hard because there's only a few things. We have a principal, we have an interest rate, and we have time. Okay, so principal is what you start with. I is the interest rate as a percentage, the percentage that you're given, the percentage, and N is the number of periods, and we could have years, months, days, half yearly, whatever. So copy that down and then come to the next page. So from our first example, $1,000, 5% interest and 2 years. So the compound interest formula, okay, that's our P, that's our I, that's our N, and you just put in the calculator using the brackets and the power button to get the power 2. You get the $1,102.50 straight away. You don't have to do separate calculations. So that's the final balance, and then if the question wants you to find the interest, you just subtract what you started with, so you get your interest that way. So you don't find the interest first, you find the balance, and then you find the interest second. Okay, copy that down, and when you're ready, come to the next page. Now, what happens is we can change the time. So in reality, in your bank accounts, the interest is calculated daily. It's not calculated annually. So we have to do some changes. So for instance, if it's 2 years, we go 2 times 365, so we've got 730 days. You have to know how many days in a year, but after that, it's straightforward. And the harder part is, because interest is per annum, you have to change it to per day. So you just divide by 365. And we'll talk about other periods of time on the next page. So on the calculation, we've still got our principal, our interest rate, and we have our time. Okay? And you put it on the calculator does all the work for you, and you get the balance is $1,105.16. So you get $105.16, and previously, on the previous one, it was $102.50, I think. If I just get back a page. Yeah, $102.50. So this means that the interest is better with smaller periods of time, i.e. if you do daily interest is better than annual interest. Okay, so the smaller the period, the better the interest. Okay, copy that down and come to the next page when you're ready. So for different periods of time, if you see quarterly, that means a quarter of a year. If you see half yearly, that means a half of a year. And if it's weekly, it's 1/52nd of a year. So how you do it. So if it's 6% interest, you just divide by 4, but then you multiply by 4 to get 12 periods. So 3 years equals 12 periods. Alright, and then we say with weekly, if it's weekly interest, you divide by 52 to get the interest per week, but you multiply by 52 to get the number of periods. And so your calculation would be those calculations, and then you just put the principal at the front and then let the calculator do all the work. Okay, and I think that's the last slide. So on Moodle, so I'll turn the page. So on Moodle, there's a worksheet on compound interest. So good luck, compound interest. So just remember the formula. It gives you the balance, and you and then subtract to find the interest. Okay, again, if you've got any questions, just please ask anytime. Okay, good luck.